Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the Patriot system build. And part 1 was a lot of fun with the Trumpeter 135th MPQ 53 C-band radar. And now we're moving on to the MIM 104 Bravo Patriot system with the M983 Hemet tractor trailer. So this morning I got started on the trailer for the Patriot system at the workshop that my club hosts every Saturday morning here in Louisville. We all get together. We have a space that we rent out, and we all get together and have a little group build together. It's a lot of fun, a lot of joking. Some of it's appropriate, most of it's not appropriate joking, but still a lot of fun. A group of really great guys that truly have helped me out through some hard times here in the past couple years. So. But moving on to some more positive stuff, we're going to get the camera flipped around. I'll show you what I have done so far on the trailer. It's not much, but we're moving right along. I'm on step 3 right now of the Dragon MIM 104 Bravo Patriot system. So give me 1 second, I'll get the camera turned around and we will continue rocking and rolling. Alright, got the camera flipped around and showing off what I got done so far. I got steps 1 and 2 done, which basically we started off with the bed of the trailer and the underside, getting the jack plates done and the side walls done and top and bottom of the walls. It does give you the option to have the jack plates in the up or lower position. I went with the up position because I'm going to have it still connected to the tractor. Then after that we roll into adding the axles and leaf springs and some boxes and some gratings. And then moving on to where I am now, heading on, I got the 2 front walkways done, and then now I'm going to be adding in the back walkways and also the fenders for the trailer. I decided not to go with all the aftermarket that came with it because number one, it looks like it's very complex on the aftermarket or on the photo etch, so I decided to skip out on that. Plus, because this is a time constraint build, I need to have this all done, painted, weathered, and attached to the base by the 3rd week of August. So I am in a little bit of a time constraint, especially how I have another project going on with the Neptune that is also on a time constraint for September. So moving on with this, so far the grading looks okay on here. I think once we get a wash in there, you can't really see it on the camera, but once I get a wash in there, it'll show off it'll be blackened out, so only the top part of it will be visible. Then the underside, again, pretty basic, bare, because you're not going to be able to see a lot of it, but the suspension on the rear, and now we're just adding boxes to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera. I'm going to get the rest of these boxes added, and the walkways here, the tail end, and then get the hand railings done, and I'll see if I have any chain that I can connect to here to get that done as well. So I'll be back in 1 second when all that is done. Alright, so step 3 is almost done. I only have one more thing to do on it and I'm going to let it set and dry overnight before I finish off step 3. And that is because I want these sanction posts that go up front, I want those to be completely dry before I start working with the cable that came in the kit. This stuff right here, you got to cut it to length. Some of them are 23.5 millimeters and the others are 26.5 millimeters, and they go in between of each one. So I want to make sure that those sanction posts are completely dry before I start dealing with all this, and because I don't want to break it off or anything like that. But for the other parts of this step, it was basically just tie downs here and there, adding in the grating on the top and these 2 support posts. I think these are for the electronics boxes that will be going in later, and then adding in the fenders for the wheels. So getting all those together. Nice little added touch to this kit, I will say, is that they added in the wheel chocks and the bracket for the wheel chocks in here. So that's a nice little added detail to the kit. And then you had this electronic, or this box, the stowage box right here, that was added on. So I do have to add the cabling between the sanction posts and also the fender lights for these two fenders up here. But I'm going to let this dry overnight before I do anything else to it, because I don't want to mess it up. So I'll be back for you. It'll be in a second. For me, it's overnight. So I'll see you later. Alright, so got a little bit more work done on the Patriot system at MIM 104 Bravo Patriot system. I got the control panels and electronic boxes done. So those were pretty cut and dry, simple. Just glue on a couple pieces here and there. And then the same with this one. This one, the doors can open up. So I left them, except for this one, I accidentally sanded off the nub that hitches into the hinge right in here. So that one's glued shut, but the rest of them open up. And if I'm going to leave them open, I'm not sure. It all depends on if I go with the plan of adding an LED to one of the missiles launching. So we'll see about that, because if it's launching, the doors are going to be shut. And the same with this one, but both doors open. So, and here you go. If I paint it up, it's going to be nice and detailed in there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have it open or closed. They do have connection points for cabling, right? All in here, here, and the same with this box. A lot more wiring goes on this box. But that's it for the boxes. And then for the actual launcher system, the rail system, got that put together. Pretty cut and dry. I do need to take down a seam right there and right along here, but that'll get done rather easily. And then I'm going to do the Patriot missile boxes here coming up here in a little bit. So after that's done, then we move on to the truck, and then on to paint. So I'm going to paint the Patriot missile boxes separately. I'm not going to attach them onto here, so I'm going to paint this whole system and then paint the Patriot missile boxes separately, and then attach everything and glue it to the trailer at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll start getting the Patriot missile boxes knocked out, and I will be back in 1 second. Alright, moving on with the Patriot system. I got one of the Patriot containers finished. This one piece took me about an hour and a half to do. And it's not because it's difficult, it's because of all the freaking injector pin tabs that are on each little panel side. Each one of these little nubs has its own ejector pin stub that you have to cut off and sand down. So I got one done in an hour. We'll see if the other ones speed up, but I'm not looking forward to, or not guessing that it's going to. So I'm going to get off of here. I want to get the other three done, and then after that, all I have left to do on the trailer is the antenna, and that is it for part 2. So I'm going to, like I said, get off of here, get the rest of these done, and then I will be back. Alright, I finished off the last of the Patriot containers. Those are all done, and I got the antenna done for the launching system as well. So that will conclude part 2 of this build for the MIM 104 Pack 1 Patriot system. So got done with the trailer pretty cut and dry. I did like the stabilizing arms a lot better for the Dragon kit than what I did for the Trumpeter kit. The suspension, same thing. It's the same for both kits. Pretty cut and dry. Sorry, pieces are knocking over. The one thing that I wish that the Dragon kit did, that the Trumpeter kit did, was have photo etch gratings, walkway gratings. It's the only thing that I kind of wish that Dragon did, that Trumpeter did. And the way that Trumpeter did it was pretty nice. They had the framework for the photo etch done, but you added the photo etch grating, and it looks a lot better in my opinion. I do have the photo etch set for the grating, but they want you to cut pieces off that are essential to the framework and all that. So I decided just to go with the kit parts. I'll add some wash and some dry brushing in there, and I think it'll look fine. The sanctions and the wiring for the walk around area for the Dragon kit, I ended up using Easy Line instead of the cabling that they gave you in the kit, because the cabling in the kit was kind of difficult to work with. So I went with Easy Line instead. I'm going to take a little hot razor and tighten these up to take out some of the slack. So that's it for that. The electronics boxes, they went together. I'm easy. Nothing much to them, just connecting a bunch of sides to them. Same. And again, these doors, except for that one, they all open. So I'm not going to have this firing. So I might have one or two of these hatches open and paint and detail the interior of that. The wheels, again, I'm not a huge fan of the rubber / vinyl wheels. They do look alright for detail, but I'm just wondering how paint is going to stick to these. I know I've tried painting them before and the paint just comes right off. So you get 4 of those, and then the Achilles heel of this kit, in my opinion, were the Patriot containers. So each one of these little lips had a sprue connection point, or a little sprue nub that you had to cut off and sand and get into the right position to get them, and then getting them all glued together and lined up took a lot of work. The first one took me literally an hour and a half to do, and after I kind of figured it out, it took me about 30 to 40 minutes per container. But they look alright, and once they're up on the rack, they'll look really good. I'm going to paint 3 of them with the Euro camouflage, or 3-tone camouflage, and then 1 of them with the desert tan camouflage, like it's been replaced. So you got 4 of those, and then the rail system. Rail system, pretty easy to do. Just a couple pieces, getting everything lined up. This antenna, you want to make sure, I made the mistake, I got this into position and then I glued these arms in, and then you come to attach this antenna, and this arm, this actuator that's right in here, is made for it to be a lot farther up. So I had to cut this down, because otherwise the antenna was going to be back here like this, at this angle versus vertical. So I cut it down and got it to the right length to have the antenna arm vertical. But that does it for part 2 of the MIM 104 Patriot system. Up next will be part 3, and we'll be working on the M983 Hemet tractor trailer, or tractor, for this, and then moving on to paint for part 5 or part 4. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, stay frosty.